Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey, everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. And just want to welcome all of you for being to the call today, and thank you for being here. I'm excited for what we get to discover today. We've had a fun little discussion before we even started the recording about some plays on words and acronyms and things like that that help us to kind of like anchor in our consciousness some new ideas. And I was really appreciative of that, and it brought some humor to our call already. And then it looks like there's still some things going on in the chat. So that's kind of fun. That's the fun part about being here live. So if you have not been here live, I encourage you to be here at 7 a.m. Live with us, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time every weekday morning, and get to know some of these wonderful people that are here live. I know if you're here listening on the podcast, you have gotten to know people here on the call. It's just really fun to be here live and to feel a part of that in the moment. So thank you all for being here live, and thank you all for being here on the podcast. I know some of you, it's not possible because of the timing, but if there ever is a moment where you're able to, we'd love to have you. I also want to welcome Colleen to the call. She just barely joined us, and Colleen had surgery last week, and we just really want to share our love with you, Colleen. Phil has graciously invited me to be a part of a call that he does occasionally called The Power of Intention, and we did that last night at 9:00 p.m. And it was just a 30-minute call. We did a 10-minute meditation, and it was so powerful. And Phil and those of you who are on that call, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate. And, last night I was just like lots of tears and tears of gratitude. And I still feel the effects of last night, and I still feel like I'm in that healing place. It was just a beautiful experience. And so I want to thank you, Phil, and everybody who joined us. And we're going to be doing that every day for 7 days. So you can go to Phil's Facebook group, The Power of Intention, and find out about that. There's some posts there that will help you be able to get on that call throughout the week, or you can just hold that power of intention at 9:15 every night until Saturday, because that's the time that we're going to be starting that Phil will be leading us through that meditation. And it's just been such a blessing to me to be the recipient of healing power. And I know Colleen just had surgery last week, and I want to maybe even share that time with her as you're meditating to focus, of course, on me, because that I'm the one who is I'm not really sure how to say this, but it is really powerful to have a singular focus, and especially with your power of intention, to have a singular focus. But I also feel that it would be very appropriate for to not split the focus, but to just include Colleen, just see us together in that focus in a place of healing. So anyway, love you, Colleen. Love you, each one of you. Thank you for being here. For our gratitude focus today, this power of intention, I think I'm going to actually change what I was going to do, and we're going to focus on gratitude for power of intention. Yep, that's what it's going to be. So I've got the timer set for 90 seconds. We're going to do a private silent meditation on gratitude for power of intention, and we'll see what comes up. So gratitude for power of intention, 90-second private silent meditation. Just write down the inspiration that comes to you. Begin. Right. I've written a lot of stuff. I'm just wanting to know just listening for what is the best things for me to share today. I'm going to share just this power of intention that Phil has created here. And for 7 days, to have a power of intent, the power of intention, holding that power of intention for 7 days. And if you do that with anything, you learn so much. Right now, I am focusing on my power of intention is learning more about the quantum field and what happens when you step out of earthly life and into godliness, into God's time, into God's space, where all creation happens, where manifestation happens. And it's so different than what I've learned in the past about the law of attraction and all those things. The things that I've learned in the past feel so earthly now. It feels so binding, almost like, we talk about grounding as in, being grounded is a good thing, to be able to be grounded heaven and earth. But if you are grounded, like you can't fly, like a pilot is grounded because of some reason, that's like the most binding feeling, to be grounded and not be able to step outside of this earth existence. And the laws of manifestation that I've learned in the past are all feel that way now that I have this new understanding. And I just feel the power of intention when you focus on a thing and you don't think that you know everything, when you can let go of everything that you know and just be in God's space and just be tutored. It's amazing what you can learn, and especially to give that, like a week's focus, super powerful. Mary.
I love that. I'm grateful for the power of intention, empowering thoughts and actions. The thoughts that they empower when you take action. The thoughts, what I thought of was the thoughts that empower. Just having the thought sometimes is enough to empower you. Sometimes that there needs to be movement with that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes life changes, or there's things that change in your life. Like right now, things are changing in my life again. And there's a tendency or a temptation to, with the disruption of the normal flow, I can still have that power of intention to get out of bed, to live my strict diet of empowering choices, even though I've got other things that are coming into my space that I have to address, and also intentionally put my focus on, instead of saying deal with. That's what I chose.
Mm-hmm.
My intentionally, the power of intention. So, but the power of intention is still doing my routine, still doing my affirmations, still doing my yoga, still doing my journal, still doing those things, just because something has come in to my life that now I have to add to the mix, and in a way that has to be done fairly quickly. So the power of intention keeps me in my routine, in my positive, empowering choices, my daily positive, empowering choices.
Beautiful. Thank you. A couple things that came to me. You said thoughts that empower, and then you talked about movement. And I changed that word empower to motivate, thoughts that motivate. And then when you do the physical movement, you are empowered. I am empowered. I have these thoughts that motivate. And then when I take action, when I create movement, then I am empowered. And that felt more true to me. I just kind of upgraded that, because I thought that, before, thoughts that motivate, and this is just like an upgrade. The other thought that came to me is, as I have been learning more about, putting my power of intention and learning more about the quantum field and moving back and forth, because, we can be in godliness, we can be in this God space and creating and being in God's presence, as we do a lot on our meditations, our visualizations here on the call. But we have to come back down to earth to be able to take those physical actions, to be empowered, to be able to make a difference in the world. And so we're constantly, you mentioned about disruption. We're constantly disrupting that quantum field, going back and forth, and it becomes easy. It's like, instead of resisting because it's another, like a different realm, or a different, like, alternate universe or whatever that we're stepping into, it's like, oh, that's hard. I'm used to being here on earth. But if we do it enough, then it's like we easily move back and forth between these, the God space and the earth space. And then all of a sudden, these physical things, these earthly situations and circumstances become not a big deal. It's like, I'm just going to go to God space and see what to do about that. It's like, it's no big deal. Thanks, Mary. I appreciate a lot of clarity there for me. Thank you. Colleen and Phil and Crystal.
I appreciate this so much. I was almost in tears thinking that I'd missed the call today because I needed the lift, and I just with just a little bit of support and a little bit of recognizing the power of intention. And what I thought of when the year started was the power of intention was an eyes to single to his glory, and to recognize that it isn't all, the healing isn't even all about me right now. And I have to take a deep breath. We had some trauma. Actually, Dawn's daughter called the cops on my other daughter, and I didn't know about anything that happened while I was gone. And I know that I'm a settling influence in my home, and I didn't realize the trauma that was going on. My husband got mad at my daughter and tried to call the cops to get her out of the house, and she ended up taking his phone away. She said she wanted to be here for me because that's why she was, and it just, she wasn't innocent at all. She stepped up to the bait, and he really anyway, it was just a lot of drama, and I think it inhibited my feeling a little bit. And I thought, you know what, it's not about me and it's not about him. It's this is going to be the best thing possible for both my husband and my daughter. So
Beautiful.
and it's such a settling influence to know that I do have that kind of an impact, and that I hopefully that the situation hasn't been so that they can look past it and say, okay, well, what is my ultimate goal?
Mhm.
It is to, be with an everlasting life, to forgive, to come to Christ, to all of the wonderful things that happen aren't overshadowed by the gloom and doom and the problems. But I don't even know quite how it got to Maryland in that much time. And well, I do know how, I just don't know. There's so much in the way of seeking. And I think people don't really understand the power of intention has so much to do with ask and knock and seek. And that I read that in the comments too. And I'm sitting there, yes, the intention of what you really want to find in your life, what you really want to find opportunities for, what you want to really really have as a base desire, not just as a sugar-coated ideal, just not, peace on earth, the whole shallow things of it all. It's just, that'd be nice, but we have to go through trauma, drama, and to recognize what our real intentions and what our real focus is. And it's not about us, it's about bringing others to Christ.
Beautiful. And this settling influence that you're talking about, you recognize that that's one of your gifts, is to be a settling influence in your home. And I just want to have you articulate what your settling influence is. I've heard that the power of intention is a settling influence. Your knowledge of God and Jesus Christ is a settling influence. The ability to ask, seek, knock is a settling influence for you. What is, I just would love to hear you articulate, what is your settling influence?
Couldn't get it in. My mouth suddenly got really dry. I was feeling with these pills that my mouth gets so chalky that I can't hardly form words. My settling influence has been with having 3 majorly affected stepkids that have been affected by smoking and alcohol, is scripture reading for me. It has
Beautiful.
been prayer. It has been my intention of unity from the very beginning,
Mhm.
which is why we have made it through so many bumps and bruises and the emotional upheaval of one powerfully intended anti-influence. She has been an instigator in rebellion, and it has been difficult with the one, because I think she has been affected so powerfully, and I don't blame her. I just think that it is part of the effects of being developed in alcohol and cigarette smoke, and even her dad has said that he couldn't hardly get her to eat. She weighed like maybe 105 pounds with twins, because is all she wanted to do was drink and smoke. And
So
she was pregnant.
So, we all have these situations in our lives where circumstances are part of our lives that we, like you said, these are stepchildren that were under the influence of something before you were even part of their lives. And so, a lot of the situations and circumstances we find ourselves in, we don't have the, we weren't the ones to actually create that. But instead of, feeling like victimized about that, we can find a settling influence within our own hearts, within our own selves. And for you, Colleen, what I'm hearing you say is that scripture reading, prayer, and your intention of unity. And I think that is just a really powerful kind of formula if we ever find ourselves in a situation where we're feeling out of sorts, that if we can find a settling influence within ourselves, maybe some specific action steps like Mary was talking about, some movement like scripture reading and prayer, where we actually feel like we're doing something, but then also that power of intention, the intent, what my intention of blank, whatever it is, yours is unity, what anybody else, whatever your situation is, that you can have an intention of what you choose and do those, things that you do have control over, the scripture reading and the prayer, and then hold that intention of whatever it is that you're choosing. Thank you, Colleen. Appreciate your thoughts. Phil?
So we really can't escape the power of intention. It's in our very makeup as embryo gods. We imagine it and we create it.
Mm-hmm.
It sends a command. I love what you said about the power of intention. It sends a command to the universe that says, here's where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
And the universe isn't picky. It isn't picky. It can say, you could have negative thoughts. And guess what? That's your intent. You bring it to you. The law of attraction brings it to you. And all for so that we can learn. There is a great movie, if you guys haven't watched, it's on Netflix. It's called The Secret. And it just talks about the power of intention and how we bring to us what we intend, and we don't understand it completely. We don't know why it works, but it always works. It's a law. And
Beautiful.
And so I just want to say that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I have watched The Secret. It's a really great first step understanding of the law of attraction. Very incomplete with our ability to manifest, but it is a good first step if you're not familiar with the law of attraction and the law of intention. Thank you, Phil. Tyree has in the chat, we are all inseparably connected. Power of intention allows for greater influence over that connection. Yes, I definitely, and especially last night, Phil, on your call, I experienced that power of connection when more than one person comes together with the power of intention. Crystal, and then Mary.
Well, my intention in life has been to help my family become an eternal family and help strengthen the families of the earth. And I have kept my love alive for my husband and everything, but he's making choices to leave, and it just breaks my heart. And I've kept my love alive by making art, like love journals, writing down all the wonderful things he did for me. But he has his choice. So I feel like somewhat of a failure. And then I wrote 2 books, the Organize Your Joy workbook, to help moms figure out how to do their self-care, how to organize their home, and how to train their children. And the books have not sold like crazy on Amazon, even though I have this intention, like I want to help the families of the earth. And so, but people aren't as excited about my organizing YouTube channel and everything. They're more excited about my art. So I'm going to start doing these time-lapse videos where I paint women in history, the unsung women that accomplish their missions, to hopefully inspire the rising generation of women to want to be wives, mothers, and accomplish their missions. And so I think that God knows my intention. And even though I keep failing, like somehow in the end, like if you're there's a scripture that says, if you have desires, you are called to the work. And I have desires even if I fail over and over, I'm still going to try to do the work.
Mhm. Crystal, you are making an impact, and it goes back to what Mary was talking about. What the inspiration that I got when Mary shared her thoughts, that there's thoughts that motivate, and then when you take that physical action, you are empowered. You have a desire to empower others, and you are doing the work. You have these amazing ideas that motivate you to take action, to write a book, to create art and whatever. And those actions that you're taking are empowering you. And there is going to come a time where it will like cross that place where it's not just empowering you, but where you have been built to the point where you can begin to empower others. And you have made some impact already. And with your art, especially, I've seen a lot of really amazing comments, and I've been inspired by your art. And then also I have your book, the whatever it was, something joy.
Yeah, the Organize Your Joy.
Organize Your
Workbook,
Joy.
The mom's.
Yes,
The
I
mom's
have your
complete
book.
organizing guide.
Mhm. And but that, anyway, I'm not going to get into a mentoring session, but this is what we talk about in the Architecture of Life mentoring program. So you're on your way. You have not failed. There is not one moment of your life where you have failed. Every single piece of this is part of that foundation that you're creating to be able to empower other women.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mary, did you have another thought?
Yes, I almost said it when I was speaking the first time, but I couldn't, and I'm not sure I can articulate it as well as I want to right now either, but, and I've heard this throughout speaking, that others with my power of intention, and you were talking about that quantum, I don't know, quantum field, that when we're moving or living or whatever, taking action from our power of intention,
Mm-hmm.
there are people who are stuck, or I didn't want to say we're stuck, but they're where they are and they haven't, they're stuck where they are. That's all. And there's a magnet that wants to pull you there. They want to pull you there, but that power of intention, that quantum field, that physical movement that you're in, I have felt it. I have felt, nope, they only understand what they understand. They know what they know. And I don't feel like it's my job to like spend time with them, teaching them, unless I feel that that's where to be. But they want to pull me or suck me there when I'm actually moving in the different direction. That I don't know, that there's more to say around that, but I'm just trying to articulate it, that power of intention, that yes. You just keep going, and you just keep going, trust it and keep going, because
I hear what you're saying, and there are invisible forces that we don't even really understand fully. It's almost like the sixth sense or something like that. There's things that are happening outside of our really understanding. I mean, we might have a power of intention. We might have something up on our vision board or whatever, but there are other people and other things that are happening. That's, like that God uses all things for our good. We see it as failure. We see it as, oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm not getting the results that I want or whatever. God sees it all as a piece that he's putting all together for our good. So there are other forces out there. When we send that power of intention out, then God can use that and create, with other things that we're not aware of. And I want to mention, I'm not a quantum physicist. I'm not an expert in the quantum field. I've been learning a lot, especially from Laura Helmling, and most especially in our Architecture of Life mentoring program. The training that she does there is like phenomenal on the quantum field. My understanding has come from sitting in my daily GPS and stepping into God's presence and asking, what do you have for me? What can you teach me? And so the words that I speak and the way that I teach, the way that I'm speaking it may not be the way a scientist would say it, but it's the way that my meager understanding as a human being that doesn't have all the training, but sitting at the feet of my Heavenly Father from the source of all knowledge and learning. It's how I understand it. And I feel like, just like a little child and believing everything that my parents say because I don't know any different. And it's such a powerful place to be. And that's what I was saying about, these laws that we have on earth seem like so simple compared to the things that I'm receiving now. And it's not because I have a degree in this by any means. So a scientist could probably find fault with the way that I'm saying it and the things that I'm saying. But for me, this is how God's training me and teaching me, and it makes sense to my mind.
Yeah. I guess this isn't the time to say some things about this, but I just feel like it's right there. And so, I mean, people like, that silly putty that you pull, or there's something taffy or something that you're pulling and it doesn't want to, you're trying to pull away from it. You may not be able to explain it to people, but you just have to keep going your direction.
Yes, you have to keep going your direction because you're being guided by God. They don't see what you see. So,
and they may see results, but they're like, wait, how are you doing that? But it's not even something you can necessarily explain. There's not a system. I'm not following.
Especially in the beginning, you will keep going and you will have that system that you can explain. Thank you, Mary. I'm just going to read what Colleen has mentioned in the chat here, and then we're going to shift over into our permission process. She says, charity scriptures have really been helpful and powerful into not seeing my stepdaughters acting out as against me, but okay, let's see. We had, but see how and what they're feeling. So charity scriptures have helped her not see it as like an attack on her, but to feel what they're feeling. Beautiful, Colleen. That's so powerful. Phil says, Crystal, I've been where you are. We cannot make choices for others. And when we try, it never works out like we want it to. That's why the other guy's plan would never work. The other guy, meaning Satan's plan, would never work. Relationships are like everything else in this world and are subject to change. Sometimes that change becomes a deal breaker, and that's okay. Awesome. Beautiful. Sometimes that power of intent, the power of intention works no matter what. It's going to help to strengthen the relationship. If our, like Colleen, the power of intention of unity, her intention is to have unity. It might, in some situations, some spousal or family relationships, it might create a stronger bond where the problem is erased. And in other situations, it might create a rift that allows unity in a different form, in a different way. And the universe, like Phil says, doesn't say, oh, no, you have to do it this way. It's like, oh, power of intention. Okay, this is, God uses everything for our good. So we're going to create the absolute best way that you can have unity in your life. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. This has been a very instructive call. I feel like it's helped me to be able to see some things on a higher level. Really appreciate everything that has been shared. Rachel says, I'm feeling that charity and the power of intention are very connected. Yes, beautiful. Being able to step out of yourself and how things are, it's like, why me? And stepping into the power of intention and what you want to create is, yes, there's definitely charity in that. Thank you. Go ahead and just take another deep breath and maybe step out of a situation that you have had where it hasn't been very comfortable or perfect in your eyes, and set an intention of what you would choose. And this is an opportunity to step outside of yourself and see things from a little bit higher perspective, because it's not like, well, I want my husband not to divorce me. That would not be a good intention to set, because that would take his choice away. It would also take God's choice away. It would take away his ability to use things for your good. If you set a specific intention of what you want, that only affects you, and that takes not into account how God might be using this for your benefit. So set an intention so that we can use this power of intention, and set an intention that is godly, that would be beyond your current circumstance and stepping into a more eternal state. What is the ultimate intention eternally that you want? And choose a word or short phrase, maybe no more than 2 or 3 words, but I think even one word, like Colleen said, unity, that would be really powerful if you can concise this down to just one word. My intention is. And invite you now to be open, to allow yourself to step into the presence of God as a student, as a child. He says in the scriptures, we have to become as a little child to be able to enter his presence. And just become as that little child. What is the one most important thing that I could do to create, and whatever your word is, unity, or whatever your word is, your intention. One most important thing, what's your inspired shortcut to create in whatever this intention that you have? And then listening also for any limiting beliefs that might be coming up. And as you are identifying these limiting beliefs, just be aware of them, and also allowing yourself to see from a higher space what that limiting belief has been doing in your life, and especially with regard to this power, this intention. What has that limiting belief, how has that been affecting the intention that you have? And allow yourself to see from not a physical space, being in that drama or in that trauma. Allow yourself to be back up in that God space and seeing from God's perspective, what is this limiting belief doing to limit and stop your intention from coming true? And if you can see now the effect of that limiting belief, the cost of it, and you would like to change it, now's the time to give yourself permission to change that limiting belief by saying yes.
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 Awesome. So go ahead and choose 2 or 3 new beliefs, new empowering beliefs or thoughts that motivate, as we talked about. What thoughts will motivate you to go ahead and take action on that inspired shortcut, and that will also open the way to let go of that limiting belief, to choose into something better, something that will be empowering, a thought that motivates, that when you take action on that, then it's going to be empowering. What new beliefs are going to serve you? And when you have those 2 to 3 new beliefs, I invite you to step back into that quantum state, and even beyond what we understand with quantum, into God's space, in the presence of God, something that goes beyond what can maybe be explained by earthly words. So allow yourself to be there in God's presence, bringing your new beliefs with you, and also that inspired shortcut, and then ask for whatever you need to give you the physical, emotional, mental capacity, spiritual capacity, whatever it is that you need to be able to take action on that inspired shortcut and move forward from this moment with these new beliefs, empowering you to have all things work together for your good so that your intention is fulfilled. So just ask for whatever else you need and receive that. And when you have received that, and I invite you to come back to the present. And we do have a lot of things going on in the chat, and also have some hands raised. We are at the end of our time, so I invite you to go ahead and share. Colleen and then Mary, keep your comments brief, please. And I just invite those who are here live to go ahead and see what's in the chat. We won't be sharing those on the recording. Go ahead, Colleen.
I just really quickly, I had my fingers in my sprouts, and I thought, you know what, it feels almost like the end of summer, and all of my plants are getting sort of leggy, and I just want to pull everything out and revitalize the soil with some compost and to replant and start something new. And just really, I think that it is the power of intention that I still have enough time to grow something.
Yes. Yes. I'm amazed that you see things a totally different way because of your green thumb, that you still have time to replant. Oh my gosh, it's March 1st. Yes, you absolutely have time to pull out and refurbish, add some compost, whatever it is that you need, and replant in your garden and also in your life. Thank you, Colleen. Mary.
I just wanted to share that my word is clarity. my intention is clarity, and my next step is to explore possibility. And my limiting belief was I should know, like, well, I should know. The cost of that is just like close up, like, okay, well, whatever. My new beliefs are I am clear and conscious, I am exploring possibility, and I am in alignment with clarity.
Beautiful. That's so empowering. Thank you. Those are thoughts that motivate. And when you take action on that, then you are empowered. I love that. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate all the shares, and just been a wonderful call. It's one of those that you'll want to go back and listen to and maybe share with other people if they're struggling and just, feeling like they're not able to be in the space that they would like to be. I think this would be really powerful to share with them. If there's anybody that's feeling like they need some extra support, you can also go to askwylene.com, and that will take you to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute mentoring session with me. Thanks, everybody. Just really love you all. And we'll look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And join us live. Thank you. Love you guys.
Thank you. Love you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, wylenebenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.